Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be showing several techniques. I'm going to be using a new stamp set that I got called Color Layering Lion. This is from Hero Arts. There's several different stamp sets in the color layering series. I have a couple of them, but this is the first one that I've tested out and I love it. The lion's detail is just amazing. One thing that I need to tell you about Hero Arts stamp sets I'll go through in the video, but I really am very happy with them, and I have almost as many Hero Arts at this point as I do Stampin' Up products, but it's still Stampin' Up by a mile. Okay, let me clear this stuff away and show you the materials that this card will be using. The papers I'm using today is a card base cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a black mat cut 5 1/4 by 4. I have 2 white panels cut 5 by 3 3/4, and 1 white panel which is cut 3 by 4 1/4. The stamp sets I'm going to be using today is going to be Hero Arts Color Layering Lion, and this lion is in 3 pieces. You create him by stamping each of the pieces with a different color. You may notice this strange coloring on the stamp. The problem with Hero Arts inks and the photopolymer stamps is the Hero Arts inks tend to stain the stamps very easily. So as soon as I've only stamped this once making this, and as you see, this line is now reddish, and this one is yellowish. Can't be helped. But since you know already that the stamps are probably going to stain, it doesn't hurt it, but it just looks whatever color you use. What you can do is pre-stain your stamps with a light color, so that way you don't have to worry about a darker color coming along later, and then you will not be able to see the details of the stamp. That's just something to keep in mind about Hero Arts stamps. So this is the Color Layering Lion. I have Friendly Advice by Inkadinkado, and I'm going to be using a Hero Arts stencil. This is called Tribal Shapes. The inks I'm going to be using is going to be a lot of distressed Oxide inks. I have Fossilized Amber, Peeled Paint, Spice Marmalade, Wilted Violet, and Vintage Photo. Ranger has come out with the next 12, I think 12 colors of distressed Oxide ink. This is from the original 12. I'm also going to be using a Dewdrop Perlescent Olive. This is by let's just say 2 drops. I can't pronounce it. Tsukinecko, I think. I also have a Hero Arts a burgundy and a rust. This is from the June My Monthly Hero. It actually had 3 colors that came with it, but there's no colors listed on the package, so I'm just going by what the color I see. And Hero Arts Shadow Ink, Soft Apricot. My Versafine Onyx Black, of course. And I'm going to be using blending, so I need my blending tools, and I also need a spray bottle of water. I'm also going to have sparkly letters, numbers. This is Beyond Basics. And I'm also going to be using some rhinestones. I think that is everything. So let me clear these things away and start into the card making. I don't think I mentioned it, but the purpose of this card is a congratulation card from my cousins Michael and Marcellious. I saw this stamp set, and when I made this design, I thought that this would be very appropriate for the 2 of them and their personality, and I really hope they like it. So the first thing I'm going to do is work on this background. So I'm going to bring in a piece of paper to protect my work surface, and I'm going to go through all of these colors, distress inks one at a time. And this is the similar technique that you've seen me do many times already. So at this point I'm going to let my brother's music play and you just watch the technique and enjoy. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to move this out of the way and make a little bit of room temporarily because I don't want to make a mess here. So the next step is to bring in the stencil, and I also need some paper. This is going to be the a technique to transfer the stencil to the background. So you take the water and you really give a nice layer of water here. And it's sticking. Okay, now I'm going to dry this off because I don't want all this extra water here. Now taking the background, I'm going to apply the wet stencil directly to it. And wait a few seconds. Have your paper ready. And just press it. Try not to move it under the paper. And carefully lift this up. Carefully. And there. You see the pattern has transferred to the background. Ooh, I like this. I had this go in the opposite direction on that card, and I turned it, and I like this better, I think. So I'll dry that up and clear it up later. Now I'm going to bring in my heat tool and dry this up real quick. This is regular cardstock. It's not watercolor paper. That's why it is warping a little bit. So I'm going to dry it real quick so I can move on. You could let it air dry if you want it, but I need this to be moving a little bit quicker. There we go. Take this glove off. I put the glove on because the Distress Oxide ink is a little bit messy and I don't want to get stuff all over everything. So you don't need the glove, of course. If you're neater than I am, you can completely skip it. So just bend the paper a little bit and all the little warping is completely gone. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next step. Now I'm going to put the sentiment on here. So I'm going to bring in my Misty tool because this paper is a little bit warped. So I want to be sure that I get a good impression on it. I've already put my stamp in where I need it to be. and I'm just going to ink it up. And if it doesn't stamp very well, I can just come right again with the Misty and stamp it a second time. So let's see how we did. Wow, right on the first time. Go me. Let me clean this up real quick. I could have also covered this with clear embossing powder and embossed it to give it a little bit more dimension, but I'm decided not to do that. I need a piece of paper towel. Clean this up. Now I'm going to use my Misty tool to stamp the lion, because this is a very solid image here, and I want to be sure that I get a good impression. And I have a really bad shadow here today, so sorry. So I need the smaller piece of paper. I've grabbed the wrong one. And the stamp. Usually I have this all ready to go, but this time I'm working a little silly. Hang in there with me. And this is brand new, so it's a little bit difficult for me to get off of there. So I want to make sure that I have the stamp go in the right direction, which is a little lion head facing down. Okay. Transfer it to the door. And as you see, despite the fact that the stamp looks yellow, it is not staining my paper at all. So for this one, I'm going to use the soft apricot. I'm making sure I got a good adhesion of that. Okay. As I said, this is a really solid stamp, so you want to make sure that you get a good pressing. Good. Clear this real quick. The stamp will forever be orange. I can't really do anything about that now. Now I'm going to take the second step, which is the larger detailed image of the lion, which also is stained, and just line it up. Look right through the stamp and line it up with the original. There we go. And the paper moves, so let's move that back. And for this, I'm going to take the darker rust. And you can already see how beautiful this is going to be. Look at all the detail. And the final is the detail of the face. It almost looks like it doesn't need it. It's so detailed already, but this last piece really pushes it over the top. Make sure I got it. And as you see, it's very easy to line it up. You just look straight through it. I moved it just at the last there, didn't I? Yes, it's okay. And for this one, I'm going to get the rich cocoa. Now, look at that. Beautiful. And I also have a crown, because what King of the Jungle can be considered a king without his crown. Someone stamped that over here. And this is stamped a nice pretty pink because I used the burgundy for that. Set that aside. Okay. Okay. I thought the crown was alright just like that, but there's a second part to it, and I'm going to use that, but I'm going to stamp it with the gold. It doesn't show up as well on this, and I could have instead stamped it with Versamark, which is the watermark pad, and then sprinkled it with embossing powder, gold embossing powder, and the highlights would have been a lot more prominent. But this is so detailed, I wasn't sure that that effort would pay off because it was so small. And there we go. Now, this is a pigment ink and it's really sticky. But you can just barely make out the details of it. I'll spend a little bit more time cleaning these stamps later. Okay, and because this was wet, this pigment ink, I'm going to hit that with my heat tool just for a second. Okay, look. This stamp set comes with die cuts available, and I got those also. So I'm going to take the die cuts, and with this line, when I did the first one, I don't even want to tell you how long it took me to line it up. I went ahead and once I got it lined, I made a little black mark here where the bottom of the lion's head is to make it easier to line it up a second time. Simple. And now there's also a die cut for the crown. So I'm going to take this off camera and run it through my Big Shot, and I'll be right back. Okay. Throw that out. And there we are, the lion and his crown. So the lion is going to go up on foam tape, and so will the crown. The rest is just simple assembly, so I'm going to let the music play and start putting the card together. Alright, that's the finished card. It went together really easily and very quickly, as you see. Leave a comment in the section, let me know, and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, do you prefer the stencil going that direction or this direction? I'm not really sure. I like them both. I'm not really sure. I'm not a fan more one way or the other. But let's just see. Thanks for watching, and oh, I almost forgot. I got special nails for this card at Q-Spa Nails down. My gals do a good job on my nails. And I'd like to thank my brother David for the music, which he wrote also specifically for this card design. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. You'll find the link in the upper part to subscribe. Please pass the word. I'm trying to get more people subscribed. Even if you're not into crafts, I hope that you are enjoying watching me bring these cards that you are receiving together so that you could see a little bit of behind the scenes of what went into the card making. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Take care.